Yay! What's up, Dallas Cowboy Nation? It's your boy G from Jersey with the Quest for Six podcast. Man, listen, waking up to breaking news this morning. The New York Giants have a new football coach, ladies and gentlemen. John Harbaugh is being speculated to getting ready to sign a 5-year deal with the Giants worth $100 million. $20 million a year for the next 5 years for Coach Harbaugh to be their head football coach. Listen, I've been saying it for about a year. The Giants are right there, and they've been on the come up for a few years now, right? Pause. But they didn't have the head coach necessarily, right, to match what they had personnel-wise. And what I mean personnel-wise, right, they've been drafting over the last few years, obviously, because they've been a bad football team in the top 5, top 10 consistently, okay? And on the defensive side, looking at what they were throwing out there heading into the season, I said, wait a minute, the Giants might be working with something, okay? We all know Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, all right? They also drafted right away last year Abdul Carter out of Penn State. Darius Alexander was a draft pick for them last year, okay? But then they were very aggressive in the offseason as well for the last couple of years on the defensive side, just signing cornerback Paulson Adebo, all right? They also signed Javon Holland to a big deal. And Drew Phillips was a draft pick of theirs, okay? So they have the pieces on defense. And I think that's what we saw in the last game of the season this year, right? That Week 18 game when Dallas lost to the Giants at MetLife, we saw that their defense had been getting better and playing together all year. And the Giants' defensive players were vocally and physically frustrated, right, at some of the losses that they sustained throughout the year. And Brian Burns being vocal about it, okay? Dexter Lawrence being vocal about it, right? And then on the offensive side, okay, they didn't start playing better until they got Andrew Thomas back at the left tackle position, but they started to progressively get better throughout the year. Obviously, they drafted rookie quarterback Jackson Dart last year, but they lost wide receiver Malik Neighbors to injury early on in the season. Early on the season this year, they also lost rookie running back Cam Scatterbo early on the season. But this team, they still fought, all right? The coaching wasn't right. Now they bring in Harbaugh, and I'm going to say this. Let's see, okay? Let's see. John Harbaugh, for what we know, very consistent with the Ravens, all right? Very structured. He has complete control over the locker room, all right, with the Baltimore Ravens. He had complete control over the locker room with the Ravens. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm not worried about what the Giants are doing. I'm not worried about what the Eagles are doing. I'm not worried about what the Commanders are going to do, all right? Why? Because the Dallas Cowboys have issues that they need to address in-house first before we start worrying about how much better or who's coaching elsewhere, okay? First and foremost, we need to get a defensive coordinator sooner rather than later. Why? I said it the other day on the podcast. Let the defensive coordinator come in, look at the roster, sit down with the front office, sit down with the coaching staff and say, guys, these are the players that I need so that I can deploy my defense out there. Too many times in Dallas, we've had coordinators that have inherited players and have had to try to mold those players into either their scheme or trying to get the most juice out of players that don't fit what they're trying to deploy on defense, okay? If, let's say, as an example, you're going to go after Brian Flores, Jerry Jones, get Brian Flores in-house and literally listen to the kind of player that Brian Flores needs on his defensive side, all right? When you look at that defensive roster on the Dallas Cowboys, you're literally looking for maybe 5, 6 starters on the defensive side, all right? How do you address that unless you get the input of the new defensive coordinators sooner rather than later, so that you can look at the draft board? But before that, you can look at free agency and see if there are players out there that fit the new defensive coordinator's mindset, the scheme that they want to throw out there. That's what I'm worried about if I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. We can't worry about what the Giants got going on, right? They got a new coach. They still got to go out there and play, all right? They still got to go out there and execute, all right? Listen, this is what's going to happen. The Dallas Cowboys have blown, opportunities year after year to go out and win in the playoffs, make it to the Super Bowl. They had the Giants down for a very long time. The Commanders haven't been very good for a very long time. And now those teams are on the come up, guys. Okay? Go Cowboys.